We're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome in to the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, and today's Tuesday, May 18th. And because it's a Tuesday, that means it's time for a live show. Welcome in, everybody. Let me say hi to some folks who are here waiting. Zombies 2 is here. Rhonda and Amelia and Jason, John. I am so sorry. I forgot the newest member of your team. That is the husband and father. They are now a 3-person team working from home. Lucille is here and Jacob is here. Welcome in, everybody. So it is May 18th. We're already halfway through May. I don't know where the time goes, but it goes. So we're just going to talk a little bit before I get into the topic at hand tonight. I have a lot to cover. I hope everyone brought questions with them or concerns. Just throw your questions in over there. I have no depth of perception. Throw your questions in as the show goes on over in the chat, and I'll get to them as I can. And I'm just going to go through all of this as quickly as I can. It's a lot. It is a whole piece of paper that I want to cover tonight, as well as some screen shares and some reading of some updates with you guys. I was going to do a video on the new policy for the adult section, a video on the ending of the power seller program, and a video on item specifics. And I might still do individual videos, but I figured it would just be better to cover it live with you guys, all of the updates, and go over them with you while I have you here with me in real time, and you can ask questions and we can look at the policies and stuff together and read them. After we cover the updates, we're going to talk a little bit about the slow sales, but I really covered those in last week's live show. And then we're going to talk about a couple of rumors, mainly one that really chafes my hide. And at that point, I'm going to have to get up on a soapbox and get a little bit snarky and dish out a little bit of tough love, but that'll come at the end. I'll preface it before I get into that part, because I'm probably going to use a few swear words, and I'm probably going to address some fantastical characters. So if you have small kids in the room, you might want to, but this will be at the end. I'll let you guys know when I'm getting into that. Fire Gal is here and Debbie's here. Welcome in, everybody. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up as you're watching. YouTube, just like eBay, has an algorithm, and we all know all the different tricks we use for Cassini. One of the tricks for the YouTube algorithm is people interacting with your videos. So whenever you hit the thumbs up, it really helps my video get seen in the algorithm and the searches on YouTube, and gets the information out to more folks. And tonight's video is going to be jam-packed with information that's important for a lot of resellers. So I really want to get it out there to as many people as possible. Thrifty Space Queen just popped in, and Robert popped in. He's Zombie Bargain Hunter there with the blue wrench. He is a moderator. He can help you tonight if you want to bug him. Mina is here from Alabama. So let's jump in. So the first update I want to cover is going to be the new policy on the adult section. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can see what I'm looking at. This is the policy. I have put the link in the description box down below, so you can go back through this on your own time if it pertains to you, and you can read it verbatim, word for word, from top to bottom. I'm just going to kind of hit the big bullets here. So their new policy, we're just going to scroll down to that. I feel like I saw it, but now that I don't have my glasses on, I can't see anything. The date was in here. So the changes are July 15th, right? So most adult-only items are prohibited. Listings that show nudity are only allowed in limited situations, and they have to follow these guidelines. And eBay defines nudity as showing any part of the male or female genitalia, anus, or female breasts where it's visible. So art could be considered nudity, you guys. If there's clothing being modeled that is see-through or very tight, it can be considered nudity. Some other things here. You guys can read this on your own. I don't want to go into too much detail and risk being demonetized, but you can see here what they consider to be part of the nudity policy. The following items are not allowed. Here's a big giant list of things that are not allowed. Obviously, it's anything that's truly adult. And then these are allowed under certain conditions. Certain art listings that do not contain suggestive poses or acts, but they must have the item-specific nudes. And they have to be listed in art, vintage pinups, risque. I like that word, risque. Toys and accessories. You guys see how careful I'm being here with how I'm saying things. Can only be in the healthcare, sexual wellness categories. Here's the date. Effective July 15th, 2021, the adult-only category will no longer be available. And then here's another list of things that are not permitted and more information on the art. Why does eBay have this policy? We want to make adult items available to those who wish to purchase them and can do so legally, while preventing those who do not wish to view them or purchase them from easily accessing them. So, I mean, it makes sense that they have this policy. Should be there. You know, if you have to be of a certain age to make your own decision as an adult, then there should be an adult section. I don't necessarily disagree with the policy, but it is new, so I wanted to mention it. But I did read an article. Now, I'm a little upset with myself because I read this really interesting article over the weekend, and then I completely forgot where I saw it, and I cannot find it again. I've Googled my face off. I've looked through my eBay messages. I've gone and looked through Facebook groups. I've asked people, were you the one that gave me the link? I cannot find it again, and it's driving me nuts because I really wanted it for tonight. But I read this interesting article on what eBay is considering to be not acceptable under their new policy. And Game of Thrones would be considered not acceptable. Now, I've never watched the show. I have no interest in watching the show. I tried to read the books years ago before the show, and the books are boring to me. I don't like them. But a lot of people do like Game of Thrones, and that and certain, I think they said certain episodes of Soprano, because there's certain shows that use explicit situations as part of a character's background or explaining why a character is a certain way. And if those are used, then they would be against the policy. And Game of Thrones, even if you have never seen the show, you're clearly probably aware of what goes on in the show. And one of the examples they used was there was a character in The Sopranos that was supposed to be his character, pardon the pun, pardon the expression, he was supposed to be a sleazeball. And in order to show what a sleaze he was, every time his character was on screen, he was at a strip club, or he was utilizing sex workers, or he was demeaning women in some way. And they were using that to paint a picture of his character, but that would be against the policy now. So just keep an eye out for that. If you guys are bored, you can Google it. I can't find the website. If I find it again, I'll put it in our Facebook group. But like Robert just said, I just hope they don't go crazy with it in like anime figures and comics. Well, if they're going to start saying you can't watch Game of Thrones anymore because they had naked dudes on the show or incest, the show is shown on HBO. So it's obviously for adults. I don't even know if shows have ratings, but it would be rated R. And that would be up to adults to monitor their children. I think there comes a point where you have to stop relying on society so much to filter or protect your kids. You should have maybe a password to your eBay, and maybe not make it so easy on your phone for your kids to get into stuff. If you don't want your kids playing Grand Theft Auto and you don't want them watching Game of Thrones, then you're, as the parent, are responsible to make sure they don't have access to that. But yeah, I just hope they don't get out of control and start banning artwork and stuff. There are certain cultures and certain other countries and certain other time periods where nudity was not considered sexual, where nudity was considered art. And there's paintings from the Renaissance area and all kinds of stuff that could be attacked. And I just hope not to see that. And if they're going to go after Game of Thrones, are they going to start going after V.C. Andrews? And then are they going to start going after Stephen King? I mean, it's kind of like, yeah. But I agree with Robert. So we're going to move on to the next topic. I'm going to see who poked in. Debbie came in. Sylvia, Georgia, welcome in. So let's go to the next topic. The next thing is they are getting rid of the Power Seller program. It's not too big of a deal because a lot of the benefits and programs and stuff that you could get for being a power seller are now integrated into the top rated seller program. So you're not really going to lose anything by not being a power seller anymore. You're going to get all those benefits with your top rated seller status. But being a power seller was a status. It was a title that a lot of us liked to use. In fact, if you look at my Instagram, let me show you. My Instagram says right there, you know, it says Star and Keith, life and business partners, full-time eBay power sellers. It is I guess, a point of status and a title that a lot of folks used. Hey, Carrie Berry's mom, welcome in. Hey, Susan. So I will probably leave that. I mean, the program's going away, but I still consider us power sellers. So here's the letter they sent out. If you were a power seller, you should have got this in your messages from eBay. We're retiring the power seller program. It reminds you that you're one of eBay's most entrusted value sellers. So the power seller program is part of eBay's heritage and has provided a meaningful badge. It now exists alongside the top rated seller program. The top rated seller program offers more meaningful seller recognition as well as a wider set of benefits. We've made the decision to simplify our seller programs, retire the power seller program, and badge as of June 20th, 2021. And they just go on to talk more about that. If you got one of these letters, again, you can go back on your own time and read it word for word verbatim. You won't lose the benefits starting June 20th. Your 7 calendar day grace period for negative and neutral feedback will now be included in the top rated seller program. So that was one of the most important things about being a power seller. If someone wanted to leave a negative or a neutral feedback for you, they had to wait 7 days. The theory is after 7 days, people would either forget and go away, or whatever rage they were feeling towards you would like simmer down and they wouldn't leave it. So if someone was angry at you, it gave them like a cool down period to rethink it. Maybe they could contact you and you could work something out, and they couldn't leave you any negative feedback for a 7-day grace period. That's still going to be around, you guys. That's just going to be rolled into the top rated seller program. And you get a special certificate if you were a power seller. Let's open it. You have to create it. I haven't yet. It's right here. You can create your certificate. You'll put your name. I haven't created mine yet because I'm kind of figuring out, do I want to put Star and Keith like for first name and then like Flippin' Hippos here? Because I'm such a nerd. I'm going to create ours and frame it. I'm telling you, being a power seller was a point of pride for us. We worked really, really hard for that badge, and we worked really hard for that title. And so, you know what? I earned it. I worked for it. I'm printing my certificate out. And after we move in a couple of months down to Florida and buy our new house and get situated, it's going to be on the wall with my eBay office. Believe me. Sylvia has hers hanging above her desk. Hey, Virginia. Okay, so the last update is eBay has asked for more required item specifics. So let me share that real quick. I know I keep coming in and out of sharing, but that's cool. So they're requiring more item specifics. Yes, everyone hates it. Everyone complains about it. Nobody likes it. We all don't like it. We think it's stupid. They add things that don't need to be added, and it's dumb. We all agree. And every time they do it, every single time they do this, they screw something up. And it's not just the item specifics. I really feel, and eBay, you know what? If you don't like me saying this, why don't you get off of antiquated computers from 1982 and hire some developers that weren't around when the dinosaurs walked the earth? Every single time eBay fixes one thing, they glitch out and screw up like 10 other things. It's almost expected now. If you know they're working on something, everything else is going to glitch out. Glitchapalooza. Anyway, go to your seller hub in the back end under your tasks square here where it tells you what label, how many labels you have to print and ship. Your suggested actions right here on the left-hand side, guys. Well, yours might be in a different space or place because you can make your seller hub look any way you want, and you can move these squares around. I have mine set up the way I like it for me, but just find the one that's tasks. You see right here where mine says add recommended. I don't have any required. I had some. I have like 26, and I've already fixed all 26 of them, so they're gone. Can I just tell you real quick, side note, what my 26 were? They took 26 of my plush that were in the proper category. They were either under Disney stuffed animals or other stuffed animals, and they moved them to action figures, and now they had required item specifics on them. I couldn't change them or fix them in bulk, so I had to open all these new tabs and go through them one by one. If you can't see me, I just crossed my eyes one by one and put them back into the proper category of stuffed animals and refix them. Thanks, eBay. But anyway, I don't have any more required. You can see that I have 1,600 recommended. That's the point that I want to make. And I know I did a whole entire video on this in the past, but required is required, and you do need to fill those out. They are required, exactly what the word means when you look it up in the dictionary, and you need to put them in. If you don't, you're going to be pushed down in the algorithm and be throttled or whatever you want to say. If they're recommended, if they don't apply to me, I don't give one rat's patootie. I just don't care. I just don't really care. I do recommend filling out as many item specifics as possible on the items that you're listing, on your listings, but you don't need to go crazy, and you don't need to fill out stuff that doesn't pertain. So as a general rule, if it's required, I'll fix it. If it's recommended, I ignore it. So that's why I have 1,600 sitting there. When I list my jeans, I put in everything that I feel is pertinent. I put in the waist size, the inseam, the wash, the, I think it's required now anyway, boot cut, flare, and all that. I put in the material, where it was made, all that stuff that I think is important, but I'm not going to sit there and put in print. Everyone knows, unless otherwise noted, that jeans are solid. I don't really think that needs to be filled out. So just keep in mind as you're going through that required and recommended are completely different. You can ignore the recommended. You can tell them no. But fill in what's pertinent to your listing, because the more information you have, the better off you are. Because the more information you have, the more likely you are to show up in searches, and the more information you're giving up front to the buyer, so you can avoid them sending you messages asking you questions. Do these have spandex in them? Do these have, what's the leg opening? What's the inseam? You know, fill out everything that's pertinent. Because then the buyer will have all that information, and it will help you in searches. If someone's searching for pants with a 32 inseam and you filled out your item specifics with the 32 inseam, then you're going to show up. So it does matter, but the recommendeds aren't that important. And I see so many times over and over again, I get emails, I get messages, I see posts in the Facebook group, people just freaking out and losing their ever-loving minds. And then you find out that theirs are like ours, where we have no required, and it's all recommended. And people are like, oh my God, I have to fix 1,600 listings. No, you don't. You really don't. You can ignore them. Robert says, I'll do it on the last day again. I could not find anywhere, and I searched high and wide. Do you know the deadline? I can't find the deadline. I thought it was May 1st, but that's clearly wrong. Robert, if you know the deadline, let us know. It's ridiculous how they really are. They really are. And then they fix things that don't need fixed, but they leave glitches and things that should be fixed alone and don't fix them. Yeah, I had heard that about the books and the shoes. Yeah, I have no idea. I looked everywhere for a deadline. I couldn't find one. I thought it said in the spring seller update May 1st was going to be the deadline, but maybe that was the day they were starting to require them. So the waist measurement size is not the size of the jeans, and that is a common misconception with women's jeans. So they're completely different. If you have a size 32 jeans, you need to say they're size 32, but you still need to measure the waist, measure the waist, because it could be different. The size is not the waist size. It could have shrunk, it could have stretched out. Everything's made differently in the factories. So yes, put the size on the tag in the title and the size required, item specific, and then under the recommendeds, there's a place for waist size where you can put the actual inches, and then you should be putting them in the description as well. You should be putting all your measurements in the description. That is absolutely a common misconception with a lot of people. If a woman's size is not like a 7 or 10 or 14, and it's like a men's size 31, 32 or something like that, that's not necessarily the inches. You still need to measure it. July is the deadline, apparently. Because unfortunately, Fire Gal, if we want to sell, if we want to play in their sandbox, we got to play by their rules, and we got to put up with their poop. July 12th. I'll send you a screenshot on Instagram. Thank you so much for that, Thrifty Space Queen. I'll save the screenshot and share it in the group, Facebook group, and then on Instagram and tag you. Measure that mace. I'm gonna measure the mace. I love live shows because I can't edit out when I do stuff like that. It's great. It's real. It's reality. I looked, but I'm not positive for the date. Well, we have the date. I'm going to have a screenshot. Cool beans. Cool beans. Now we're hearing July 20th. Oh, my goodness. Okay. We're going to move on to slow sales. We're only going to talk very briefly about the slow sales. Last week's live show, I covered slow sales and 10 things that you can do to stay productive and busy during slow times. It's probably one of the best videos I've ever done, and I'm only saying that not because I like my own self or videos. I'm saying it because last week's live show was so crammed full of information tips and tricks. I talked about how to boost your listings in the algorithm. I talked about death piles and inventory systems and getting organized. I talked about Cassini. I talked about listings. I mean, I talked about a lot. The video has a lot of information in it. I covered a lot of ground. I covered keywords and the titles and the formula you should be using. It was a very informative video, and it was like having 10 smaller videos all crammed into one. Like each of those 10 tips could have been its own video. So last week's live show was a really, really good show as far as information goes. If you weren't there live and you haven't caught the replay yet, I really, really recommend you guys watching it. It is an hour long because it was a live show. So if you have to watch it in increments, you should watch 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day until you've seen the whole thing, or put it on in the background while you're taking photos or while you're listing and just kind of let it run and listen to the tips and the tricks. Because it's one of the videos where I have given out just so much information and so many tricks and tips that I feel like everyone should watch it. Yeah, me too, Nicole. Hi, what is the waist measurement? You know what I say because I stay professional, but I'm really over it. I'll screenshot the item description and I write back and say, hi, as notated in the description, the waist is 32 inches. I've included a screenshot in case you missed it. Very professionally, passively aggressive. Yes, and plus sizes can measure differently. Women's jeans are just a mess. They're a hot mess. I could talk for an hour about them. Yeah, I talked about refreshing and boosting. So make sure you watch last week's live show if you haven't. It's long, but it's informative. Do it in chunks if you need to, or just put it on in the background. Do some photos for an hour. Go through your death piles for an hour. Do something productive for an hour and play me in the background. You don't need to look at me to hear me, right? So just, sales are going to be slow. We're going into the summer. We are post shutdown and COVID, so we're in a new time. This is different than any other year going into a summer slowdown. This is unprecedented. We have never had this before. 2020 was different because we were still in the midst of the shutdown and COVID, and we hadn't had vaccinations out for the public yet. Now we do. Things are weird. We've never seen this before. This is going to be the first May going into summer slowdown like this. So it's going to be different. People are probably out of stimulus money. Taxes got delayed. They weren't due till Monday. People have been out of work in some instances. Lots of people don't have money, and if they did, they've already spent it. I would say if I was asked and forced to answer, my prediction would be we're going to go into summer slowdown early, but we may see like a quick uptick somewhere in June and July when folks start to get their refunds, because people who put off filing their taxes because the deadline was moved may start getting their refunds in the middle of the summer. So we may have a summer where we're slow, we get an uptick, and then we're slow again. And that'll be something new because the taxes being moved. But you can cross-post. You can keep on keeping on, guys. Just keep on keeping on. Cross-post and continue to list. You'll thank yourself in Q4. If you've always listed 10 items a day, keep listing 10 items a day. Hell, do 15 or 20. Do more than you normally do. Try to offset the slow sales. List more. Maybe you'll sell more. And even if you don't, when we come out of the summer slump, when we're going into Q4, you may go into Q4 with an overall amount of listings more than you've ever had before. And then you're going to be happy and very surprised in Q4 when you really start to make the money and the sales start rolling in. So just keep it up. Again, watch last week's live show. I talked way more in depth about it. I saw Kelly. There she is. Hey, hip flipping mama, welcome in. My husband does that passive aggressive attitude. Yeah, I just kind of point out to them, like, in case you missed it, and I give them a screenshot. I never buy jeans. Yeah, I never buy jeans online either, ever. I usually steal from what we thrift. I keep what I like, but if I go to a store, I'm like you. I swimmerization. I try on a bunch. I'm short, so that's part. Like even petite pants, I'm walking on them. Okay, they need to come out with a Hobbit size. They need a Hobbit size of jeans because I'll buy like the short or the petite, and it's still like coming down the bottom of my tennis shoe, and I'm walking on it and tearing up the bottom. Like all the bottoms of my jeans are frayed and ripped and torn because they don't make Hobbit length pants. And don't get me started about capris, because capris on me are not capris. They're like ankle length puddle waders or flood pants or something. That's good. I'm glad. That I'm happy for you. I think a lot of people though right now are struggling. So I'm just trying to keep everyone upbeat that is struggling. It can't be forever. Lots of the paper checks are going out. Yep. Back to school buying might actually be really good this year because most kids are going away from the distance learning. They're actually going back to the buildings. They're going to be vaccinated. They're going to have the masks lifted. And they're going to want to look great. They haven't seen their friends in forever. They're going to want clothes. They're going to need supplies they didn't need at home. All that stuff. So Hobbit length. It needs to be a technical term. They need to have short people jeans. But they do sell sewing machines. Was that a passive aggressive hit at me? Listen, when hell freezes over, I'm gonna sew. Let's put it that way. I'm not gonna sew. Not gonna happen. I'm gonna walk on my jeans and tear them up. I don't sew. Do not sew. Yep, more destroyed toys. Hey, and I hate to say this because it's really sad for kids when it happens, but a lot of kids on vacation will accidentally forget or leave their plushies behind at the hotels that they stay in, and then they come online looking for them. I've had so many messages over the years thanking me after they bought it, or they leave good feedback like, hey, this is the exact moose or mouse or whatever rabbit that my kid had, and he left it in a hotel when we went to Disney, and he was so devastated. They do lose them on vacation too. I love Stephen King, period. But I don't sew. I did in high school when I was in drama and I was making costumes, but short of us being in like the Handmaid's Tale world and me being forced to, not going to happen. All right. This is the part where we're going to talk about a rumor. So like I told you guys, I'm going to give you a warning ahead of time. And I am going to preface this next section. I am going to get up on the soapbox. I'm going to give out a little bit of tough love. I'm going to get a lot of snarky. And I'm probably going to say a few swear words. And I'm going to address certain belief systems. So, if you have small children in the room, please remove them, because I don't want you coming at me later that I didn't take my kid out of the room and you said, and they heard, and now we're upset. So small kids out of the room, everyone else, get your snack and get your drink and buckle in, because we're getting ready for some of Star's tough love. I'm going to give you a couple minutes on that, just to make sure that we're free and clear before I open my mouth and start talking. Having collectible, that's weird. I saw a lot of Christmas in July, believe it or not. And I think that's because people have Christmas in July parties. And those might come back this year. Hey. I'm not paying someone to hem my pants. I'm just going to walk on them. And then I'm going to complain about it, because it's what I do. No, stop giving me suggestions. I want to be a martyr, guys. I want to walk on my jeans. and complain. Yeah, I just actually read The Handmaid, and I've never seen the show. I read the book, and the author had to recently come out with a sequel called The Testaments. The Handmaid's Tale was amazeballs. It's probably one of the best books I've ever read. It's up there with two of my favorites, which is Animal Farm and Watership Down. 1984 is really good too, but Handmaid's Tale was really, really good, and I'm actually going to start the show because the book was so good. Anyway, I read the sequel. She wrote it in 2017, and the original was written in the 80s, and I like the sequel even better because it was from the viewpoint of some of the other women in the society. Women are divided into their handmaids, and then there's Marthas, and there's aunts. All the women are divided into these different positions if you're not familiar with the book or the show. So the sequel, The Testaments, is actually from the point of view of different women in different sects, sects, different sects of that dictatorship government. And then there were three women in that book telling their stories at the same time, and the third one was from Canada, outside of Gilead and that government. Oh my god, it was so good. I read both books in 2.5 days. So I highly recommend the books if you like reading. I highly recommend the show if I haven't seen it, but I heard it's just like the book. Okay, anyway. I have two, Jacob. All right, so less talking, more cursing. All right, I'm assuming everyone got their kids out of the room. Please tell me you did, because I'm going to feel really, really bad. We used a stapler to him. I'm going to feel really bad if they're in the room. Okay, so the one rumor I want to address is the fact, and I did a whole video on this. It was called, I don't even remember what it was called. What was it called? It was all about the refresh, that magic button that you can supposedly call eBay, and they flip this magic button and you suddenly are so special because you called in and asked to be special, that this magic button or this magic switch gets flipped and your sales get turned on and you get preference over everyone else. So under this theory, you guys, under this theory, you could be a horrible seller. There's a train coming, sorry. You could be a seller who has 50 negative feedbacks, no positives. You could not be a top-rated seller. You don't offer free shipping. You don't do best offers. You don't do sales. You don't do any of the best practices. In fact, your titles are awful. It says blue jeans, size 10. And you have all this negative feedback, and everyone knows that you're a terrible seller, right? Your reputation's out there. You're bad. And you can call in and say, I need the refresh, and it doesn't matter because you called and asked. You're going to get the switch flipped, and you're going to suddenly be pushed up in the algorithm and given preferential treatment over top-rated sellers who are doing all the best practices. Look at how snotty I'm getting. There is no magic button. There is no magic switch, okay? I'm going to tell you again. I'm going to say it one more time. There is no magic switch. If, and that is a capital I and a capital F, if the reps are doing anything at all, it is the same exact thing you can do for yourself. You can refresh your own listings. If you need to know how, I have several videos showing you. The most recent one was me addressing this rumor and this issue. If they're doing anything, they're doing the same thing that you can be doing for yourself. So, the theory, the fact-based opinion, I called in, my sales went up. Yeah, they did, because they refreshed your store. And guess what? You can do it yourself in under 2 minutes at home without calling in and being on hold. They don't do anything magical, you guys. There's no refresh. But they told me they did. But they told me they do. I don't give one rat's ripping ass what they told you. The majority of folks who are being told that this exists, that they're refreshing it for you, you are calling reps that aren't at headquarters, that are not properly trained, that are reading from a script and don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. There's a reason why, number one, people like Facebook, the eBay for Business on Facebook, and number two, there's a reason why people will call and call again and call again until they get the answer they want. It's because these reps are not trained properly. They're not trained all the same. They don't know what they're talking about. And they will say anything they need to say to placate you and make you happy and get you off of the phone. And the joke in a lot of the Facebooks is, if I don't get the answer I want, I'll keep calling back until I do. Is that not a red flag to you? Does that not tell you that they're not trained properly? And the whole rumor about this refresh, well, you have to call and you have to get an overseas rep on the phone for them to do it. How is that not a red flag to you? How is it not a red flag telling you that this has to be wrong if you have to call until you get someone overseas? I can't even with this. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all something. At eBay Open in 2019 and again, 2018 and again in 2019. So 2018 and 2019, 2 years in a row. I went to eBay Open. I talked to eBay executives, more than one, both years, more than one, and I asked them about this. And I was told by no less than like a dozen eBay executives, by the way, who work in California at the headquarters and are in charge of training reps and all that. They said they don't know where this rumor started. They don't know how it started, and they've been doing their best to train their reps to not say it anymore because it's not true, but it's out of control. That too many of the reps overseas have been spreading the rumor amongst themselves. So it's not only a rumor that goes around amongst the sellers, but the reps tell each other, hey, if you have an irate seller on the phone who's pissed off because their sales are slow and they think they're being throttled and they're not showing up with the searches, just tell them you're going to do the magic refresh and they'll be happy with you and they'll get off the phone and they'll be happy. This is a rumor amongst the reps as well as sellers. And the unfortunate thing is I can sit here and talk to you guys until 2053 and it's not going to matter, because if there's one rep out there telling one seller that this is true, and that seller is either new enough or gullible enough to believe it, they're going to spread that rumor. And the rumor of magic is so much more exciting than the truth. I mean, people want to believe my sales are bad. So instead of me having to buckle down and work harder, instead of me having to list more, instead of me having to do something on my end to try to increase my sales, why would I want to sit here and work? Why would I want to do unsolds? Why would I want to run sales? Why would I want to send offers? Why would I want to double down on listings when I can just call and get a magic switch flipped and get my sales turned on? People want to believe it. It's magic. People want to believe it. And here's the part where I'm going to get to where I really hope your kids aren't in the room. I talked to a 6-year-old the other day who really believed in Santa Claus with all her heart. So Santa Claus must be real, right? Believes in the Easter Bunny too. Easter Bunny must be real. Just because somebody believes in something doesn't make it real. It's because they want to believe in the magic of something. All children want to believe in the magic of Santa Claus and the magic of the Easter Bunny and the magic of the Tooth Fairy. It is a beautiful fairy tale for children. I told it to my kids. I believed in it when I was a kid because it's magic. And we all, even as adults, we watch movies, we watch TV shows, we read books. We like the element of fiction. We like the element of stepping outside of reality, and we like magic, right? But just because a couple of sellers really wholeheartedly believe in this, it doesn't make it real any more than what a child believes in, you guys. But I understand why people want to believe in it, because you can call in and you can get that magic switch flipped and your sales will turn on and you didn't have to work. Not true. So back to what I was saying. The executives of eBay Open told me and Casey and Sydney and Colleen and Bill and David and Jamie Pace and all of us that were there together in a group, Keith too, but he doesn't socialize. They don't understand where this rumor started. They have been doing everything they can for years to quell it. They're training new reps not to say it, not to do it. It is not a truth. But let's go a step further, okay? Because I've had people who believe in this myth and this rumor get on me about, well, you talk to executives and CEOs and companies are out of touch and they don't know anything because they're too high up. Okay, well, let's go a step further. I have concierge service. So when I call eBay, I don't talk to overseas reps. I talk to people in California in the headquarter building. So they're in the building where eBay is, the headquarters. These reps are trained here in America by other Americans who are overseen by these executives who I talk to, and they're trained properly, and they don't read from a script. I can tell you that going from the regular customer service to concierge was eye-opening, truly an awakening. We used to call in and you could tell they were reading a script. They would keep repeating themselves. They wouldn't listen to what you were saying. They would talk over you because they had to read the script. When you call concierge, you can have an actual conversation with a real human being who's not reading a script. You can call them for any problem and you can talk to them, and there's no script. They're just solving a problem and an issue, and they're having a conversation with you, and they're properly trained. And if you ask them about this, guess what they're going to tell you, and what they've told me and many other friends I have that have concierge. It's a myth. It's not true. It's a rumor that started somewhere. Nobody knows where. They can't get the overseas reps to stop doing it because they don't like to deal with irate or upset people, so they'll say whatever they have to say to get you off the phone. And if they're doing anything at all, if they're doing anything, they're just doing a store refresh, the same as you can do for yourself. So if you ever have called in and been told, I'm going to flip the magic switch and refresh your store, and then you suddenly started seeing sales, guess what? It's because they did the same thing you can do for yourself without wasting your time on a phone call. Refresh your own store. I have videos on how to do it. You can do it once a day, a couple times a week, however many times you want to do it. And you will see sales because refreshing your store really does work. It's not magic, though. It's just refreshing. And you can do it yourself. You don't have to call in and keep calling in until you get the exact rep. I mean, one of the rumors is that you have to call in and get reps in the Philippines because they're the only ones that can do it. What? How is that not a red flag? Y'all, I cannot even. And it really bothers me if you believe in this, that you think anyone can call in, and just because you called in and asked for it, you're suddenly special enough that you're going to get preferential treatment. That's not how it works. You have to do the things that Cassini likes to get your listings up in the algorithm. And you have to give good customer service. And you have to earn your feedback and your top-rated seller badges. And you have to put the work in order to get the preferential treatment. Let me catch up on the comments. That was a soapbox and a 10.5. Thanks so much, Kelly. I appreciate that. Shelly's so funny. Shelly knows. I notice when Shelly's paying attention. There you go, Robert. The magic button is the list button. The magic button's in your own brain. You push it and tell yourself to work. Yep. I agree with that too. There you go. I agree with that too. They're the worst. They really are. They're not trained. The joke being that you can keep calling in until you get the answer you want should be, your number one clue that they're not all trained the same. It's like they're all trained off a different manual. If you can keep calling in until you get your way or get what you want or get the answer you're looking for, they're not all trained the same. Because if they were all trained the exact same and on policy, you would get the same answer no matter if you called in 10 times or 100 times, because they would tell you. And that's how it is with concierge. And they'll tell you it's a myth. So I'm so mean. So anyway, my phone is blowing up. All right, so I got one more little rumor. Oh, Danny, you missed it. Danny's late because he went to Dairy. Danny, you went to Dairy Queen and you missed the best soapbox bitch fest I've ever been on this channel. You'll have to watch the replay. Yeah, I would agree with you, except for the concierge. I give them like 8 out of 5. They are so awesome there in California at headquarters. They will talk to you. Like I said, you can tell they're not on a script, and they'll actually have a conversation with you. And if policies have changed or something can't be done to help you, they actually take the time to explain to you why. They'll tell you when the policy changed. They'll talk about the policy with you. They'll tell you why they can or cannot do something. They're just pretty amazing, and they'll help you until they're done. So if you have, if I called in and my rep's name was Robert, and I'm like, "Hi, Robert, how you doing today?" And he's like, "Hey, Star, what's going on? And what can I help you with?" And I'll be like, "Well, Robert, I actually saved it up, and I have like 10 things I need you to help me with today." He'll be like, "All right, let's start with number 1." And they'll go through all your issues with you. They're just amazing. They are truly amazing. Join the Facebook group where you can Keith, you and Casey can stop texting in the group chat. Thanks. It was the best. Now I'm getting snotty with Keith. Stop lining up my phone. Thanks, Robert, so much. I'll see you in the group. And you guys, there's the link again. Make sure you join the Facebook group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. So I have one more small rumor before I let you guys go. It's just a little rumor. I've only ever heard it a couple of times, but it always seems to rear its head in the Facebook groups when sales are slow. So usually around this time of year during summer slowdown, there's a rumor that eBay rotates who's being seen and who isn't. And that's just dumb. That's just stupid. If they hid half of their sellers and only half were seen, they'd lose money. They would lose money. They can't hide their sellers. They can't, because they make money off of us for our fees and stuff. That's not true. If you want to be seen, if you want preferential treatment, if you want to go up in the searches, do all of the things I've been telling you guys to do for, I don't even know how long I've been on YouTube now, 3-4 years. All the best business practices, good keywords, good pictures, good descriptions, fill out your item specifics, run sales, do best offers, free shipping helps, refresh your store, end your listings on your own manually and relist them. Sell similar so that they're new listings every month and not stale. There's a ton of stuff you can do on the back end for yourself to get you preferential treatment and get you boosted up in the searches. But eBay doesn't rotate us. They don't do rolling blackouts. If you guys heard of those, they don't do rolling blackouts. They don't turn half of us off and give everybody a fair chance at selling. That's not how it works. Not everyone deserves a fair chance at selling. You you kind of create your own chance. If you're listing consistently and you're staying active and you're doing all those other things I talked about, that's your fair chance. eBay's not turning us on and off or rolling blackouts to give everyone a fair chance. To get your own fair chance, you've got to do the work. You've got to do the work. You've got to do what the algorithm wants, and you have to list every day and you have to be active. And those are the folks that deserve a fair chance and the folks that will get it because you're putting in the work. I did hear a new spin on this rumor this year. They said it was to keep people from being discouraged and leaving eBay. So they'll turn half of us off during slow times. So the other half can make sales because not as much people are shopping, and then they'll switch it. And then that way everybody kind of gets sales and doesn't get discouraged. I don't know. No. Because what if they turned off half of the people with stuff that is really great that people want to buy and all they had left was poop? That would hurt eBay. They're not going to turn us off. They're not doing rolling blackouts. The only throttling that will happen is if you have a lot of negative feedback, if you have a ton of negative feedback and not enough positive to offset it, yes, you will be pushed down in the searches. You will be throttled. If you get too many item not as described, they have a whole graph that you can look at, and it's in the back end of your seller hub. If you don't know how to do it, let me know, and I'll do a whole video about it, how to look that up. But they implemented this, I think it was 2018, eBay Open. But they implemented a new system, and it's such a high percentage. Like, none of us really need to worry about it. But if you have way more items not as described in a specific category versus your peers, then you will get throttled. If you have a lot of negative feedback, you're going to get throttled. Basically, if you're a piece of shit, you're going to get throttled. Don't be a piece of shit. Told you guys I was going to swear. But there's only one real way to get preferential treatment and to go up and not be throttled. And that's to put in the work and be a good person and be a good seller and a hard worker. Have I ever personally taken a pair of poop brand jeans and whacked them with scissors, tossed in the wash? No. Personally, I have not. But I have friends that do, and they do well with it. I don't, because this goes back to like why I don't sew. I can't do anything in a straight line. If I tried to cut jeans off, it would be a mess. I'd have one leg so short that the butt cheek would hang out, and the other one would be like half mid-thigh. I don't try to cut off jeans because I know I can't cut straight. I can't sew straight. That's just not me. But if you can do it so that they're even and they look nice, absolutely do it with your poop brands. I have friends that do it. I actually, Esmeralda, I don't even know if she's here tonight, but my friend Esmeralda, she'll purposely take old poop jeans and cut off the legs, and then she'll rip them and distress them and make them look distressed and ripped. She does really, really well with them. So yeah, because you can sell cut off poop brands for more than the full length jeans, believe it or not. I heard that rumor for years. Yeah, they're not going to turn anybody off because they're going to get their fees. So, yep. Lauren, am I saying that right? Is it Lauren? You do create your own destiny on eBay or any other platform, or even in life in general. If you put in the work, you see the results. And if you don't, then you don't. And if you cut corners and you're a bad seller, you're not going to see the benefits of anything other than negative feedbacks and not getting pushed up in searches. Yeah, I think it's because I'm a lefty, to be honest with you. I have a tough time with a lot of things. You should see me cut a pizza real quick. I know, this is off topic. But when I cut a pizza, it's so funny. Most people cut, and it's like this nice two half pieces that are equal, and then they can cut it again, and there's these nice pieces. Dear Lord. I'm like, what? And they're all different sizes, and we love DiGiorno pizzas. And Keith doesn't like to cut them, so he's learned to live with the fact that he's going to get one piece this big and another piece this big. It's so funny. But yeah, a lot of stuff I do, it's crooked, it's sideways, it's backwards, it looks weird. Like, people are like, how are you doing that way? I don't know. I'm left-handed. I've always done things this way. It just looks weird to you because the rest of the world is, or most of the rest of the world is right-handed. But anyways, guys, that's all I want to address tonight. I hope I've impressed upon you enough about this rumor. I've made entire videos about it and people continue to believe it, but I can only tell you what I know, what I've heard from eBay executives. And listen, if you want to take the word of a representative overseas that hasn't been properly trained over the word of executives and representatives that are based in headquarters, then you can do that. That's fine. I know what I know, and I'm not going to waste my time on the phone asking for something that doesn't exist. I'm going to do it myself. It takes 2 minutes to refresh your store. You can do it in another tab while you're doing something else. Multitasking. Anyway. So that's it. You guys, those are the updates. Make sure you go through them on your own if they pertain to you. Don't forget to print out your power seller certificate if you got one. Listen, we worked hard for that. We earned it, right? Print it out. Save it. I'm going to do mine. Make sure you get your item required specifics done. I believe they were saying July, the date. I'll put it in the Facebook group for you guys. But they're due by July, so make sure you do maybe 10 a day, 5 a day if you have a bunch to do. Some people have thousands. Just work through a couple a day. You can ignore the recommended. So don't freak out or panic about the recommended. Just hit those required ones. Don't freak out too much about slow sales. It's pretty normal for the summer. It's not unique to just you. You're not doing anything wrong. Your stuff isn't poop. It's summer slowdown coming out of a pandemic. This is unprecedented, new summer slowdown we've never seen before. Make sure you watch last week's live show. It was really, really full of a lot of information. And don't listen to rumors. If you hear something and you're not sure if it's true or not, go to a trusted veteran seller that you know. They don't have to be a person on YouTube or a person that's well known on Instagram, although those are the folks that usually know things. But if you have a friend that's been selling for a long time or know someone that you trust, just ask or go in a group and ask and see what people tell you. You guys are all welcome. Texas Sparkle, I'm just ending the show so you can catch the replay later. It'll upload to YouTube. Jacob says, thank you for another great live. Yep, thank you so much. Everybody, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Help me with the algorithm on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And make sure you hit the bell so you're notified when I put out new content. I got some What Sold on Poshmark and Macari videos coming out this week. Yeah, my opinion on Macari has changed. So hit that bell. You'll be notified when the new content comes out. Hit the thumbs up. Join the Facebook group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. Whew, that's a lot. And go be productive. Go make some money. Refresh your own stores, guys. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so, so much for watching and hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. I love you. I will see you next time. Y'all are the best. Bye.